all the 10 years, you have done a brilliant work. And you have not reached here very easily. You are selected through a very tough competition. You build up a scientific temper even as you are here. And even as you are here, the kind of competition among students who are drawn from various socio-economic profile. You come from different parts of the country. So the competition is actually multifaceted, and you cope with that, and also some of you all outshine that competition. And therefore, for the scientific ability and the scientific mindset that you build here, the world wants to have the benefit of your skills. And that is why you stand out, and I actually feel the center of excellence is very consistently in the last 10 years reflected by the students themselves. And I will not undermine and I will not overdo the role of the student and undermine the role of the faculty. Faculty who are qualified, faculty who do the transmission of learning in the classroom is one thing. But the faculty who have got the passion for being here, some of them who have retired long time back elsewhere are here back again. It is that passion to make sure the best is made available for students that has brought excellence to this place, with students being ready to absorb what is being given by the learned, experienced and bright faculty members. So a special word of appreciation and a special word of gratitude to all those faculty who have been here for a long time, who have come from elsewhere, and who have that passion to communicate with you, to make sure that you get the best of their learning, their experience and their brilliance. So I appreciate the way in which the faculty have dedicated themselves to the well-being of the students and the quality of this institution. I just want to go back to talking about how this country is moving on in making sure that our youth are given the necessary skills and they are also re-skilled and upskilled as we go along. And for that, I begin with the way in which Honorable Prime Minister on the Red Fort on 15th August this year gave us a slogan which existed before but added to it a bit more. We are all familiar. Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. You are familiar, aren't you? Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. We've been saying with great admiration and respect to the farmers and also to the soldiers. Honorable Prime Minister added to that by saying Jai Vigyan and Jai Anusandhan. I'm sure by now even those who don't understand Sanskrit or Hindi, Vigyan you would know, even in Tamil it's Vijnanam. So Jai Vijnanam, Jai Anusandhanam. Anusandhanam is for technology and also for innovation. So the slogan now is no longer Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, and it doesn't end there. It is Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, and also Jai Vigyan, and also Jai Anusandhan. And it is in the last two that your contribution gets recognized. Your contribution is what is going to take India in the next 25 years, which we call Amritkal. And during this time, the emphasis will be on Vigyan and Anusandhan, so that by the time you see India at 2047, India at 100 years, 100 years free from the imperial rule, India will be a technologically savvy, advanced country. And I would say each and every one of your contribution is what is going to make it possible to reach an advanced economy status by 2047, and for which there are several steps that the government has already taken. I like to highlight a few because it is important for us to know. As it is, the government has set up quite a few centers of excellence. I think the Teaching Learning Center, made IT Innovation Foundation, Center for Smart Manufacturing, Center for Artificial Intelligence and IoT have all been commissioned with support from government schemes and also from the contribution from the society itself. So it is not just building one or two IITs or building triple ITs with specific emphasis on manufacturing or on design. It's also to have these institutes of excellence around it so that you create an ecosystem which can help science, which can help technology, which can help in training people with excellence for or inclination for innovation. And this is the kind of ecosystem that we have been very clearly dedicating ourselves, allocating resources in the budget and making sure such institutions draw best of our talents, best of our students. And to that, when private sector, now some of them are in the board here, Saint Gobain and others, if they have come in to be on your board, they know what the industry, particularly those futuristic industries, particularly those which we have called as sunrise areas, particularly those for which we are giving productivity linked incentives so that India becomes the land for manufacturing some of those critical things which today we are completely dependent on countries abroad, and when there is a supply chain disruption, our manufacturing suffers. So what we need to do now is to make sure we understand what the industry needs and be able to manufacture for ourselves and for the world. And that is why industry leaders sitting on the boards of such wonderful institutions which draw talent, which bring in the best of skills and ability, and which have rigorous teaching, learning experiences is very important, because we need to produce our students to be capable of getting into industry and getting into industry which serves India's development goals. And this synergy is now, I think, much achieved by most of the institutions, because government speaks to them, they give inputs to the government, and as a result you are able to get institutions which are absolutely important. There are a few things which I would want to highlight about the way India has created the ecosystem, which actually can help you to understand that we are at the right juncture. We are at the right juncture to contribute and to take India in a leapfrogging sense rather than marginal additions to what we already have. I just want to understand and also contribute to this debate with the data which comes from the UN population statistics of 2019. It says the working age population of India will overtake China in 2028, meaning we'll have more working age population people in India by the time it is 2028, even much more than China. And that working age population will reach 65% of our population by the year 2036, and it will stay at that level of 65% till 2047. So I'm sure you understand the importance and significance of such a thing. If your working age population, meaning those who have graduated from institutions like this, contribute to about 65% of the entire population, the productivity, the contribution to the GDP are all going to be much higher than what the world can see today. So we are on a right way, giving emphasis to benefit from the demographic dividend that we have, working age population, being 65% of the population, total population itself is not going to give us the advantage. It is only when they are skilled, it is only when they are trained, it is only when they are given equal opportunity, irrespective of gender, societal classes or anything, that only then will that advantage of 65% of a working age population will be able to contribute to India's growth. And if it is much more than China, you realize the importance of training today, skilling today, and keeping that momentum up for further several years. 25% of all the startups. Before I go to that, I want to just tell you that even now, many people speak about Indian education system saying there's so much more to do, you're not as good as somewhere else. I just want to underline the fact, it is this India's higher education which has contributed to the best of company executives elsewhere. Globally, I might be saying something which all of you all are already aware. Globally, 58 top-notch company CEOs are Indian in origin. And they are in 11 such companies which are global big corporations. 58 of them in 11 large companies which are multinational companies whose collective turnover is over 1 trillion in revenue, 1 trillion revenue and 4 trillion in turnover. 58 India-educated, Indian origin people who have gone to head these companies are managing this kind of corporate sizes. And therefore they couldn't have had less education than any others. In fact, they've had better education from our higher education institutions. But that's not to say that what is now prevalent is good enough, nothing needs to be done about them. We have to constantly keep upgrading the teaching learning experiences, and therefore it is important for us to continuously be on the top. Now, if 58 of them are already performing on the top notch, I also want to underline the fact that more Indian CEOs are there in S&P's 500 companies. Standard & Poor gives you a top company, 500 companies list. In the top 500 companies list, there are more Indian CEOs only next to American CEO. If you look at any one country whose CEOs are seated there, the second largest contributor to the number of CEOs globally is India. Americans may be first. So I repeat, our higher education is no less. People who have gone through the higher education in India are the ones who are totaling up to the second largest contingent which is managing most of the best of the companies around the world. And that's the second largest contingent only after the United States of America. And again, I'm sure many of your sights are already on the Silicon Valley. 25% of all startups in Silicon Valley are managed by people of Indian origin. So for every one of us who's looking at Silicon Valley, you can actually lift your collars up in pride. 25% of all the startups there are managed by Indians. India, of course, now has 100 unicorns because the startup ecosystem has built up so well. 100 unicorns, all of them together are valued. The market value of these companies are $250 billion US, and they have managed to raise from the market over $63 billion US. 100 unicorns all in India. In the last few years, this number has gone up rapidly. I'm saying all this because even as you're going to graduate from here, even as some of you all would want to seek jobs, I'm sure those of you all who can become entrepreneurs yourselves and create jobs for others. So it is not a world where entrepreneurship is worrisome. Entrepreneurship has risks. It may have healthy risks, but it is possible for you all to become entrepreneurs yourself. Since you're talking about innovation, I also want to put this before you. In 2014-15, the total number of filing for patents in this country was only about 42,000, slightly above 42,000 in number. Today, that is the year ending 21-22, this number has gone over to 66,400 patent applications. So it is not easy. I don't find students feeling happy about it. You're not? You're not happy about it? 42,000 now becoming, in a matter of 7-8 years, 66,400 patent application, and I'm sure some of your patents are also being awaited there for getting your patent rights. The national education policy, therefore rightly, has given a lot of emphasis for higher education. And in this year's budget, I distinctly remember giving budgetary allocations for 750 virtual labs in science and mathematics, and 75 skilling e-labs for simulated learning environment. And all these are being set up this year, marking 75th anniversary of India's independence. 750 virtual labs for science and maths, 75 skilling labs, e-labs for simulated learning. A digital university is also being set up, which will cater to all the far-flung areas, but many of the Institute of Excellence, universities of quality, are all joining hands in setting up these institutions, which are going to be digitally benefiting for all of us. There's more to say about the interest that this government has taken in funding research, in funding and bringing private partnership into areas of research, genomics, pharmaceuticals, drones, artificial intelligence, and also making sure geospatial learnings are also strengthened. And I'm sure these are the very areas in which you are giving a lot of focus, and we'll be, as government, very happy to engage within such institutions which are institutions of excellence. I once again take this opportunity to congratulate the students who are going to receive the awards, but I also really thank our parents who have come here to see their students, their children getting the award. This special word of appreciation to parents. There is always one section of Indian society which says, parents are driving our children too hard. Children are not given freedom to do what they want. Whilst I understand that voice, yes, students should be given all freedom to pursue the area in which they want to study, but parents do have a sense of how the world is developing. Parents do have an understanding of what's going to help their ward, their children. So if they give us that gentle push, we are not worse for it. And I therefore pay my respects to all Indian parents who, because of their single-minded pursuit that their children should be educated, should be given best of education, they forego a lot to invest in children's education. Education is expensive. Scholarships are available. But parents do forego considerable amount of their savings in order that they see their children graduate like you all do and become CEOs of top-notch companies. So I actually bow my head in respect for Indian parents who have made it possible for Indians to reach this height. And therefore, with all that said, once again, thank you very much. I didn't see much of an enthusiasm this side when I spoke about parents, but I'm sure you'll realize it in a few years that your parents have done brilliantly well for you. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Madam, thank you so much, and I particularly take this homework, Jai Vigyan, Jai Anusandan. We all heard it from the PM word on the ramparts of Red Fort on August 15, but I think it is nice you set the context so well. Thank you, and I am sure as parents we all should thank the Minister for taking our cause. Thank you. Madam, I want to tell you that our students are not only good in science, technology, design, manufacturing, they are also good in larger general abilities. So I'm going to hand over a small plate which has something very interesting, all done by them. So let me kind of give 2 lines in Tamil. மாண்புமிகு நிதியமைச்சரின் வாழ்க்கையில் சில நிகழ்ச்சிகளை கொண்டு கூகுள் பகவான் உதவியுடன் IIITDM மாணவர்களால் தொகுக்கப்பட்ட ஒரு சிம்பிள் பிளேட், அதில் ஒரு திருக்குறள் ஒன்றையும் சமர்ப்பிக்கிறேன். Those of you who do not follow Tamil, I present some moments from the Honorable Finance Minister's life, selected by IIITDM students using Google Bhagavan, along with a related stanza from Tirukkural in the form of memento. Please accept. To the Senate members, does it please the members of the Senate to approve the award of the degrees of the Institute to the candidates who have become eligible to receive them at this convocation? Thank you. To the Director, Mr. Director, please award the degrees of the Institute to all eligible candidates.
Mr. Registrar, please propose the number of candidates who have become eligible for the award of the various degrees of the Institute at this convocation.
Sir, I propose that 380 candidates consisting of 6 PhDs, 53 MTech, 110 BTech MTech dual degrees and 211 BTech candidates be awarded the degrees of the Institute at this convocation. I also propose that 303 candidates present be awarded the degrees in person and the rest in absentia.
By the authority vested in me as the Chairman of the Senate and the Director of the Institute, I shall award the degrees to all the candidates proposed by the Registrar who have become eligible to receive the degrees at this convocation. Dean Academics will present the candidates who have become eligible for the award of PhD degrees, and the heads of the departments will present those who have become eligible for the award of the MTech, BTech, MTech dual degree and BTech degrees of the Institute.
I hereby present all the candidates who have become eligible for the award of the PhD degrees of the Institute. Yes, Manigandan. Pallapogu Prasanna Kumar, Ajay Shankar, Burra Venkata Shrikant, Heads of the departments, please present all the candidates who have become eligible for the award of the Master of Technology degrees of the Institute.
Master of Technology in Electronics and Communication Engineering with specialization in Communication System Design with distinction, Chandika Madhusopna. Suraj K. Geeta Jakamseti. NG Ilakiya. Ramireddy Saumya. Master of Technology in Electronics and Communication Engineering with specialization in Communication System Design, Amal CS. Monisha M. Gaurav Kumar. Master of Technology in Electronics and Communication Engineering with specialization in Electronic System Design with distinction, Muttaya S. A. Swarna. Pravartana P. Aditya Goya. Muhammad Sagib Ansari. Master of Technology in Electronics and Communication Engineering with specialization in Electronic System Design, Sivapriya K. Sudhanshu Shekhar. Apraboina R. Rohit. Hitendra Singh Narwaria.
Master of Technology in Mechanical Engineering with specialization in Mechanical Systems Design with distinction, Velmurugan K. Magesh A. Simi Praveen Kumar. Anamika Singh. Sandeep Kumar Krusti. D.K. Ajay Atmaram. Master of Technology in Mechanical Engineering with specialization in Mechanical Systems Design, Siva PM, Arata Pradhan, Ranjit Kumar K. Master of Technology in Mechanical Engineering with specialization in Smart Manufacturing with distinction, Varun Prakash, Shanmuga Priya Kokirala, Zaran Muhammad, Bajuri Zanjali Basmaja, Silva Ganapati P. Muhammad Jabi, Master of Technology in Mechanical Engineering with specialization in Smart Manufacturing, Banka Mani Bhargava, Ambatti Shivaramakrishna,